Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get her? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV 8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented.
Good morning, I'm Wendy Burke, and this is the CBC Morning Report for Tuesday, January 9th. The Barbados Union of Teachers is pleased that the problems which were plaguing a number of schools at the end of last term are now rectified, and students should be able to return to classrooms in cleaner conditions. General Secretary of the BUT, Herbert Gittins, told Morning Report that while a few environmental reports were due, they were mostly satisfied that conditions are much improved.
The environmentalist, he was there, and then there was a Mr. Vaughn who also would have done some cleaning at the properties as well. So from what we would have seen during the walkthrough, the union was very satisfied. Even at Ann Hill, there were some minor issues, and they were being dealt with on the Saturday, but we were satisfied that all the areas that were of concern, both the senior teacher and the steward of the school were present. And they also expressed satisfaction at the work that was done at the annual. So we give that a go ahead. Then we went over to the Thorn School, and where again, based on the recommendations coming out of the environmental study that was done at the school, really concerned. They did some remedial work, and when we left on Saturday, we were given the assurance that Mr. Weeks will do some more testing, and those results were due to be passed on today. I don't know if they're ready, but that would have given the go-ahead for Lester Vaughan. So the only for Lutheran, sorry, the only issue, as I've been indicating, is that Mr. Leach would share the results. So once those results were within the correct parameters as they relate to the amount of spores and so on, then school, we were satisfied that school could have started there. Also at St. Paul's, given the work that was done there, given the challenges that would have existed before, remedial work was done, and we also were satisfied that that school could also open.
When the doors open at Mount Tabor Primary today, there will be 89 new students from the St. John Primary. Parents and guardians of 11 former St. John Primary students have opted for transfer to other schools, citing greater convenience, including easier access from their respective homes. The principal and all staff, teaching and non-teaching, of the St. John School have also been reassigned.
They would have organized for some of the teachers to be placed at other schools across the island, but some of the about 6 or 7 teachers, along with some classes, which I think the reception classes were staying intact, those along with the other students would be given places at the Mount Tabor School, and those parents who needed transfers based on residence where they live and so on, those were granted. So the union was satisfied given what has transpired between the end of the term and the work done at the various schools up to Saturday.
A news release from the Ministry of Education says a new prefabricated building has been constructed at the Mount Tabor school site to house 2 classrooms. The Transport Board will provide a daily school bus, which will transport students from the Coach Hill, Colleton and Gaw Hill environs to Mount Tabor. The bus will leave the St. John Primary location at 8:30 a.m. and return to that location in the evening. The crossing guard remains by the St. John Primary to assist with movement on mornings and evenings. The transferred students will be allowed to continue wearing their St. John Primary uniform at Mount Tabor. As Cabinet will decide on the future of the St. John Primary School, security remains at that school. One area that the BUT has taken BUT by surprise is that of Princess Margaret Secondary, with the school's reopening delayed by a week for repair work to be completed. It was realized late that work needed to be completed and the children and staff could not be in the environment while it's ongoing. However, Mr. Herbert is happy that the children will be working online.
We learned not really in the proper way because we weren't informed by the ministry, but we understand that now that Princess Margaret the classes will be conducted online because some construction work there was not completed. And I think that's a good move because we do not want persons to be exposed to residue from construction work, which would not be the best teaching learning environment for students at this time.
Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, another top military official killed by an Israeli drone strike.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian community.
A suspected Israeli drone strike on southern Lebanon has killed a senior commander in Hezbollah's elite Radwan force. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken travels the region, attempting to prevent the outbreak of a wider war.
Around 11 a.m. local time, an Israeli drone strike hits a car traveling in the village of Karbat Salem, 10 kilometers inside Lebanese territory. Hezbollah has confirmed a senior field commander with the elite Radwan force was killed. Wissam al-Tawil was from the village. He's the highest ranking Hezbollah commander known to have been killed since October 8th. Israeli sources say he was responsible for attacks by the armed group on a key military installation in the Galilee. That was launched in response to the assassination of Hamas leader Salal al-Aruri last week. His death will be a blow to Hezbollah. The man was highly regarded as a very capable fighter, and Hezbollah supporters have shared pictures across social media of him with senior commanders. Some show him with Qasem Soleimani, the leader of the Iranian Al-Quds force, who was killed in a US drone strike 4 years ago. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sent a warning to Hezbollah and a message to Israelis living close to Lebanon.
We will do everything we can to restore security in the north and allow your families, because many of you are locals, to return home safely and in the knowledge we are not to be trifled with. We will do whatever is necessary.
He went on to say that he would prefer not to carry out a large-scale bombing campaign. Those comments coming as international diplomacy is in full swing to stop an all-out war and keep tensions contained within the disputed border area. The German foreign minister arrives in Beirut on Tuesday, and also this week a top diplomat from the United States, Amos Hochstein, also arrives. Now, he was in Israel last week. The Israelis gave him a proposal to push Hezbollah deeper into Lebanese territory and past the Litani River. But that proposal was already rejected by Hezbollah. Hezbollah don't want to negotiate anything while the war in Gaza is continuing. So what he has to offer will be closely watched. What power the diplomats have and how they choose to exercise it will be crucial over the coming days. US President Joe Biden is seriously worried about Israel's messages to Hezbollah and wants to avoid a full-scale escalation in fighting. But as we've seen in Gaza, his influence is limited and Hezbollah is clear. The war on Gaza must end.
U.S. President Joe Biden does not plan to fire Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin over his failure to disclose that he has been hospitalized. There have been calls from Republicans for the removal of the Pentagon chief. Austin, 70, sits just below President Biden in the chain of command of the U.S. military. He remains in hospital, which he entered on New Year's Day.
Lloyd Austin remains in hospital after suffering complications following recent surgery. He's been criticized for taking days to inform the White House about his operation. Al Jazeera's White House correspondent Kimberly Halkett with this update.
The Pentagon is releasing new details about Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin's hospital stay last week. It's a hospital stay following routine elective surgery that the Secretary of Defense started to experience complications, prompting a return to the hospital and a stay in ICU following feelings of severe pain. The problem is that the White House was not aware that the Secretary of Defense was in the hospital because he did not disclose it. Instead, he transferred his responsibility to his deputy. And that is the problem for many of the critics on Capitol Hill, including top Republicans in the Senate Armed Services Committee, who say that this is something that was deliberately withheld and that the White House also withheld this information in defiance of U.S. law. They are calling this unacceptable and are demanding a briefing from the Pentagon. Still, the White House says that they have the full confidence of the Secretary of Defense. The Pentagon is saying that there are no plans for the Secretary of Defense to, in fact, resign. They say that they will be investigating, and the White House says it will look into what procedures and protocols need to be followed in the future. But for now, Secretary Lloyd Austin will remain on the job.
Time to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados. Well, it's Tuesday, so we will be having those conversations on CARICOM with His Excellency Ambassador David Commichon, Barbados's ambassador to CARICOM. We will also be continuing discussions for Drug Awareness Month. We'll have some officers in from the NCSA to tell us about some of the community initiatives that will be going on. Also, we will have the release of a new song, He's Been Good, by Mikael. He's out of Trinidad, and that song also features local star John Yard and Shade Seeley. So we'll be having a bit of gospel in the session. We will also be having some more timely information coming forward as to what's been happening in and around Barbados. So you can listen out at 6:30 for Morning Barbados. But before that, more news, sports, and weather after the break.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack? Or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan.
The new appointees to the Senate and Cabinet have been sworn in. They were issued with their instruments and officially assumed their duties yesterday. CBC's Joshua Hinkson reports.
I, Chad Jason Blackman, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Barbados according to law. So help me God.
I, Charles Merville Morris, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Barbados according to law. So help me God.
I, Marcia Kelly Icado, do affirm that I am faithful and bear true allegiance to Barbados according to law.
Having taken the oath of office and affirmed, Barbados welcomes its two newest members of the Upper House, Senator Reverend Charles Morris and Senator Chad Blackman. Senator Blackman also takes on a ministerial portfolio along with Parliamentary Representative for St. Michael South Central, Marcia Gatto. The swearing-in ceremony took place today at State House in the presence of the President, the Prime Minister, senior cabinet ministers, and the families of the new appointees. With previous experience as an ambassador and advisor to a number of international organizations, high on Minister Blackman's agenda will be the attraction of investment both locally and from abroad.
We are in a very critical moment in our history now. And I think when we're looking at building out the economy and trying to create an economy that's sustainable and prosperous, we also have to look at foreign investments. But equally, I think domestic investments must be part of the mix. And therefore, how can we ensure that Barbados becomes a country that can attract high-quality investment around the world, but at the same time still allows for us to do so in a way that treats to our core values.
Eager to commence her duties, Minister Caddo believes her ministry has tremendous growth potential and the ability to deliver on the innovative goals of the government.
I know that with respect to industry, that we have to be able to uncover and support some new and emerging areas and be able to identify high growth companies that will be able to add to economic growth and development for all. with respect to innovation, this government, when we came to service in 2018, had a very clear agenda of bringing innovation to all of what government does. I believe that we've been able to do that, a lot of that. There's a lot more scope for that to be put in place.
Meanwhile, Senator Reverend Morris, being appreciative of the role his childhood community played in his upbringing, also acknowledged one of his mentors.
I also want to thank the people of Black Bass for producing me, and in particular, Bishop Broom, who never took his hands off my shoulder, and I promise that I will do my utmost best to ensure that Barbados gets the best of everything.
And Prime Minister Maudsley has expressed her confidence in the new additions to her team.
Every so often in the life of a government, you have to do some fine-tuning, and I believe that the three persons will bring skills and add serious value both to the legislature but also to the cabinet and to our ability to achieve the missions that we've set out. We're laser-like in our focus because we're operating in a global environment that is highly unstable.
January 8th also bears significance for Dame Sandra Mason, as it was on this day in 2018 that Her Excellency was installed then as Governor General of Barbados. Joshua Hinkson, CBC News.
The Barbados government has already handed over the keys to close to 200 homes as part of the Hurricane Elsa Relief Housing Project. And by March, the remaining 88 houses are expected to be completed. CBC's Crystal Hoyt has the details.
In a matter of weeks, government's $110 million Hurricane Elsa Relief Housing Project is expected to be fully completed. That's the word from the National Housing Corporation's Special Project Manager, William Clark, who gave an update on the ongoing works.
There are 88 other houses that are needed to be completed in various parishes. But by the end of March, we are expecting to have all the Hurricane Elsa project that are outstanding finished. This is one of our 3-bedroom houses which are in progress, just about 80% complete. We are hoping to have this finished within the next 3 weeks.
179 houses have been handed over to Barbadians so far. In fact, just days before Christmas, Ann Spooner received the keys to her new home, a significant improvement to her previous living conditions.
I used to gotta put something to catch me. I never used to want to talk about it. I never invite nobody in. Only what was here with me was the presence of God and the remedy of fall. And then that pushed down, I felt a little discomfort, to see the people see how it been looking thing. But I'm proud now to be a Bajan and have a good house that the government helped me with.
Government's Hurricane Elsa Relief Housing Project is being executed by 3 agencies.
National Housing Corporation, UDC, which is Urban Development Commission, and RDC, Rural Development Commission. A total of 1,683 houses were affected by the hurricane when it passed Barbados. 570 repairs were identified for National Housing Corporation, 349 rebuilds were identified, and we had some 217 individuals who would have received materials. St. George had 243 houses that were affected. St. Philip had 245 that were affected. And Christchurch, there had a total of 215 houses that were affected. If we break that down, bills for St. George alone was 107, St. Philip had 101, and Christchurch had 97. What we've completed so far, St. George has 49 houses completed, Philip has 74 houses completed and handed over, and Christchurch has 39 houses completed and handed over. A total of 179 houses have already been completed. Repairs. We had 570 repairs had to be carried out. 493 of those repairs have already been completed. We only have 12 repairs left to be done. That total, 65 of them, we could not have done anything because there are legal issues and there are other areas that cause those houses to be omitted.
The program is expected to be completed by March 31st, 2024. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness is promising his administration will be investing in more programs and measures to assist with the fight against crime in the country. Here are the details from TVJ.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness treading a pothole-filled road in Portland on Thursday. It's not the only rocky road facing Jamaicans at this time. Crime continues to plague the nation. 2023, though, has brought relative relief in comparison to previous years.
We see that the reported major crimes, which would be murder, shooting, robbery, assaults, and rape, break-ins, are all trending down. In fact, this year's figure is the lowest in 22 years. So crime is going down. But the perception of crime is going up.
The Prime Minister said experts have started their analysis of the violence data in Jamaica, and so far they've noted that the nature of attacks are becoming more barbaric.
If you look at the statistics, you would see that of the 4,500 reported serious crimes that were committed, 1,300 were murders, 1,389 were murders, and 1,000 plus were shootings. So the percentage of violent crimes that could end in the ultimate loss of life relative to all other serious violent crimes is more. It's increasing. So there is no question that we have to do something about violence, and in particular, violent crime.
So having made large investments in the JCF and JDF's members, infrastructure and fleet, the government will now expand the reach of other areas of crime fighting, such as social services.
Somebody's going to have to sit down with mothers in communities like these to say, look, I know your mother beat you when you are growing up and you feel you are better for it. But that was back in the day without social media. That was back in the day when the entire community was your parent. Nowadays, the mental health impact of violence is such that it leads people to depression. People end up taking their lives and taking other people's lives, and people become angry and bitter, and they can't figure out why is it that I'm so angry and bitter. It comes back to just generally how the society has normalized violence.
In sports, Barbados is expected to have a contingent of approximately 8 athletes for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris this summer, the same number that represented the country at Tokyo 2020. That's the word from Vice President of the Barbados Olympic Association, Cammy Burke. In an interview with CBC Sports, Burke says only 400-meter World Championship bronze medalist Shade Williams has qualified so far for the global showpiece set for July 26 to August 11th. But there are opportunities for other athletes to meet the Olympic standard in the coming months. At the last Olympics, Barbados had representation in track and field with 6 athletes: Mario Burke, Jonathan Jones, Shane Brathwaite, Tristan Evelyn, Tia Adanabel, and Williams. Swimmers Alex Sobers and Daniel Titus also made the cut.
Looking at 5 sports, namely to get qualifiers from, namely track and field, swimming, boxing, surfing, and triathlon. Already, we have 1 athlete who has a qualifying time, and that is Shade Williams. And track and field will have right down until the end of June to qualify for their nationals. Other athletes who are on the radar for the AAB will be Rasheem Griffith in the 400 meters hurdles, Jonathan Jones and Deshaun Boyce in the 400 flat, and Kyle Gill. And they're also looking to qualify a 4x4 relay team. Swimming, Jack Kirby, he's the closest to the qualifier, and he probably can make it for the 100-meter back. I think he's about a second outside the qualifier mark. The unfortunate thing is, from what I've been hearing, there are no ladies in that mix-up. But they have the World Championships and World Championships in February, and CARIFTA, the CARIFTA organizers, have identified an 18 and over group, and they can compete. In short, it will be a Caribbean qualifier in April in the Bahamas.
Additionally, Barbados' brightest star in the boxing ring, Jabali Breedy, is hoping to earn his spot along with top female surfer Chelsea Tuack.
Boxing have one other qualifier in Italy between February and March. Obviously, Jabali Brady will be on our radar. And then there's surfing. Their final qualifier is between February and March in Puerto Rico. And obviously, we'll be looking to see how Chelsea Tuat performs in that regard. And then there's triathlon. Matthew Wright is probably another one very close to qualifying. Right now, he is doing exceptionally well. He has 3 other opportunities to lower his time and lower his ranking and finish in the top 10, which will give him an excellent chance of being included.
Time now to take a look at the weather picture. The barometric pressure is 1014.1 millibars and the temperature 25.3 degrees Celsius. The seas are moderate in open water with swells ranging from 1.5 to 2 meters and increasing. Small craft operated sea bathers should exercise caution. The tides, the first high tide was at 2:44 a.m. and the second will be at 1:26 p.m. The first low tide will be at 7:36 a.m. Today, it's initially cloudy to overcast with scattered moderate showers. By late afternoon, it will be partly sunny. Tonight is expected to be partly cloudy with a few brief isolated light showers. That's today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12, followed by World at 1 on the radio network of stations. It's time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
And a pleasant Tuesday morning to you. Now, we may have had a few showers here and there this morning, but I'm sure you did not let it put a damper on you. Remember, if there's no sunshine on the outside, have some on the inside, and it'll make your day so much brighter and better. Well, one thing that will make our day brighter and better today on Morning Barbados is to find out what has been going on. We have been on a bit of Christmas recess in terms of having that conversation with our ambassador David Commichon, but today we will get to hear from him exactly what the grouping has been up to over the time down, but that doesn't mean they weren't working. So we'll get to hear from him. We'll also get, as I said, to see a gospel artist. He's out of Trinidad. So we'll get to find out exactly what this song is all about because he's collaborated with some local names that we know well. And remember, it's Drug Awareness Month. So the NCSA will be in the house as well. But let's get now to that conversation. Good morning to you, Ambassador.
Good morning. Good morning, Wendy. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Yes, and it's always great to see you. Always great. And I love your colors. Not just the African print, but the fact that it's nationalistic as well. Barbados is all in there. So that's great.
This is a gift to me by the Barbados Association of Vendors, Barven.
Yes,
so
we had them on yesterday.
So
represent, and it was nicely done as well. Suits you well. Now, the Bridgetown Initiative, that name would have been called so many times now that everybody should have gone and looked up to see exactly what it's about, what it contains, and how it's going to help us as a country on the world stage.
Yes, Wendy. Well, I spoke quite a bit about the Bridgetown Initiative last year. You know, this initiative that was formed in Barbados, was embraced by CARICOM, but that Barbados has taken responsibility for really pushing it on the world stage. And I promised last year that we would do a review at the end of the year to see how much progress we would have made in 2023 in getting it implemented. Remember, in 2023, we had several bites at the cherry, really, to get it implemented. We had the spring meetings of the World Bank and the IMF in Washington. Then we had the June summit in Paris, President Macron and Prime Minister Motley, this summit for a new financial pact. Then we had the UN General Assembly in September. We had the autumn meetings of the IMF and the World Bank in Morocco, and then we had COP28 in the United Arab Emirates in early December. So at every stage, Barbados was pushing, and CARICOM, to see how we could get it implemented. And so I want to give a little report. What have we accomplished thus far?
Yes.
And what is still to be done? But just set the background. This, in a world that is increasingly dark and dismal, when it seems as if major powers have lost their mind, have lost a sense of responsibility, Barbados brought together persons to craft this initiative to respond to the plight, first of all, of poor countries, countries that are struggling with debt, with underdevelopment, also to respond to the climate crisis, to say, let us finally find a solution that can prevent the world from going the route of the global warming that will take us beyond 1.5 degrees and create tremendous problems for humanity.
Yes, yes.
And let us try to reform. Let us see how we could reform this international order that was set in place around 1945, when many of the countries that exist today were still colonies and therefore did not get a seat at the table. Therefore, we have created a world order that is not sufficiently sensitive to our needs. So the Bridgetown, Barbados is really being the adult in the global room, and is saying, let us be responsible, let us be humane, let us be caring about our planet, but also about people. And here we are not just issuing a call, a utopian call, as if we are God, but we have come with a very practical program to say these are the very practical things we could do to take the world in this positive direction. And the good news is we have made some very significant progress.
And I think if the progress is marked by nothing else, it has to be with the continuous mention of our Bridgetown initiative in a number of the major periodicals and newspapers and so on. I mean, we've seen the initiative, we've seen Prime Minister Motley's name, we've seen Professor Avinash Prasad's name, and every time you can see 4 lines, Bridgetown initiative. So it is constantly there. People are understanding it. People have praised the excellent piece of work which it is, because of how easily it is for other places to be able to utilize what's in that document to assist themselves as well in the whole climate fight.
Yeah, well, part of the brilliant thinking of the Bridgetown Initiative is to link the climate fight with the fight against poverty and underdevelopment. And for example, the Bridgetown Initiative has focused on helping the most intensely affected debt-stressed countries. And so it has urged the IMF, for example, to operationalize the new funding mechanisms to respond to the plight of the most vulnerable and the most debt-stressed, the Resilience and Sustainability Trust, the Poverty Reduction and Growth Trust. And it has urged that many more resources be put into these programs and be made available to developing countries. And yes, many have benefited, including Barbados. In fact, Barbados was the first country to be allocated funds from the IMF's new Resilience and Sustainability Trust, right?
Yes.
And these are funds that you get at 2.25% interest, repayable over 20 years with a 10-year moratorium. So it is responding to countries that are struggling with debt. Also, we have pushed under the Bridgetown Initiative the idea of debt pause clauses in all lending instruments. So we have said to the World Bank, the Inter-American Development, all the multilateral banks, and to major countries, put into your, when you lend money, especially to developing countries, you put in a clause that says, if that country is hit by a natural disaster, a pandemic, that all debt repayments are paused for 2 years.
Yes.
And this idea has been taken up. The UK is now doing it, France is doing it, the World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, the European Investment Bank.
So we've not just laid the way for our fellow CARICOM brothers and sisters, but we're showing the world.
Countries all over the world.
We're showing the world.
And then we have to give a lot of credit to Professor Avinash Prasad. Because a major component of the Bridgetown Initiative was to get the Loss and Damage Fund under the climate change agenda. For years, we were talking about this Loss and Damage Fund, but the Bridgetown Initiative said, look, we have to get this operationalized. Professor Prasad did a lot of work leading up to COP28 and at COP28, and finally, the Loss and Damage Fund is operationalized. We are saying that it should be at the level of at least $100 billion every year. At COP28, they pledged about $800 million. So we still have a long way to go. But finally, it is operationalized. And finally, countries like Barbados and other Caribbean countries that suffer climate-related disasters, whether it is sargassum, whether it's a hurricane, whether it is intense drought, will be able to get reconstruction grants, not loans, grants to help them rebuild after the disaster. See? Yeah. So in several areas, you can see where the Bridgetown Initiative is actually gaining traction and is being gradually implemented.
And that must be well pleasing to those who were part of actually drafting that Bridgetown Initiative. You know, and that's something that we oftentimes take for granted. We see things come into action and we assume, oh, it didn't take a lot. But the architects behind it would have taken their time and they would have looked at all the possibilities. They would have looked at where we need to be, because it's not just for the now and to deal with climate and poverty reduction, but it's also looking toward a future for us within the region.
Yes, well, Barbados had initially taken that initiative to bring to Barbados, remember in July, August 2021, some of the leading thinkers on these issues. We brought them here, and so the complex of ideas was put together right here in Barbados. But then we introduced it to CARICOM, and CARICOM bought into it, and so it's part of CARICOM's official policy as well. So when we go to these different events, whether it be the IMF World Bank meetings, COP, you know, UN General Assembly, all CARICOM countries are pushing it. But of all
we've heard it from Irfan.
Yeah, everybody is pushing it. But Barbados has assumed special responsibility for it. And in 2024, this year, we are going to have enhanced opportunities to really push it. For example, Barbados is assuming the chairmanship of the group of the so-called vulnerable 20, the V20, you know, just like how we have the G20,
yes.
But there's also, the G20 is the most powerful countries in the world. The V20 are really the most vulnerable, but it's not 20, it's actually something like 68. So of the poorest and most vulnerable countries, we are assuming chairmanship of that group in May of this year. So we will have, as chairman of the V20, 68 countries, we will be able then to deploy that strength, that collective strength, to push the Bridgetown Initiative. We are also chair of UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Remember, we had the 15th UNCTAD in Barbados in 2021. We assumed the chairmanship. And one of the things that we said under the Bridgetown Initiative is that the multilateral trading system has to support this transformation for developing countries. And so we are using our chairmanship to host in Barbados in March of this year UNCTAD's it's a global forum on the global supply chain, right?
Okay.
Because one of the things we find, yes, we set these goals for renewable energy projects and so forth, electrification of our vehicles and all of that, but quite often we can't even get these materials on the world market, right? Because we are shut out, or the global supply chain doesn't support us.
When we come back after the break, we'll discuss that a bit more, and in terms of how Barbados can help lead the conversation and the things that are happening now to create some breaks in that supply chain. Morning Barbados will be back with more conversations with Ambassador David Commichon.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back with Ambassador Commichon, where we're going to be continuing our conversation this morning. Before we went off, we were talking about UNCTAD and the whole supply chain issue. But some of the things which CARICOM has been doing will help to stave off some of that international pressure should those transshipment links continue to weaken. Now, Ambassador Commichon, we had set up situations with Guyana, with Suriname, where we're looking to trade with each other a lot more because, one, we were trying to keep our import bill from extra-regionally down, and also we have a lot that we can share with each other. And you would have been a part of a number of these discussions and negotiations, which would have been signed on to help this, go smoothly. How are things going to ramp up for 2024?
Yes, well, we got the wake-up call during the COVID-19 pandemic when there was a real scare that everybody in the world was scrambling for all kinds of things and that we could be shut out. We're a small region. And so the ships that bring the food, for example, could stop coming. So it was a wake-up call, and CARICOM decided to act. So yes, we are going to try to be much more self-sufficient, self-reliant in the Caribbean. One of the things I'm very pleased with is the agricultural production project, the 25 by 25, to reduce the regional food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. That is going well. The lead president, President Ali, is reporting that countries are really doing what they're supposed to do. We are increasing our food production. And, you know, I'm hoping that our food terminal at Lears, that in this year, that construction will actually start on that, because we have this idea of Barbados being like a hub.
Yes.
And we will be bringing in foodstuffs from Guyana, Suriname, re-exporting to other countries in the region. And also this brilliant idea that Prime Minister Motley really pushed this idea that countries like Guyana, Suriname, Venezuela are outside of the hurricane belt. And if a hurricane hits the Caribbean, you know, and destroys our agricultural production, why don't we put some of our agricultural production outside of the hurricane belt? And for example, when we went to Venezuela a few months ago, Venezuela offered Barbados 50,000 acres of land, agricultural land, just to, you know. So this is an idea that kind of has taken root. Of course, we're still working to actualize it. I mean, we have done some of it with, for example, the black belly sheep in Guyana and so forth. And also on the industrial front, CARICOM finally woke up that we must have an industrial policy. So we set up a prime ministerial subcommittee on industry headed by Suriname, and they are now working on how to flesh out that. But it's crazy that CARICOM was in existence for so long, but we did not really have a structure focused on on developing industry regionally. We now have that. So yes, we have to focus on both fronts. We have to focus on what we can do on the international front, and this is why the UNCTAD conference that we will be hosting on the global supply chains and how developing countries could be guaranteed access to global supply chains, but also what can we do for ourselves within our region.
And now let's look at how we're going to be able to translate some of these things, because we're going to need some funding still to do it. And some of the things which have been created and put in place are things like the debt for climate swap, some other initiatives. How do you see them panning out as we go into 2024?
Well, Barbados is not only talking the talk, but is walking the walk. Because as Barbados pushes the Bridgetown Initiative and all of the different ideas under the Bridgetown Initiative, Barbados is also taking concrete action to show how some of these things can be actualized. So, for example, we are not just asking for increased access to funding for climate projects from the international world. We are actually setting up in Barbados a blue-green bank, right? The Barbados government is putting in 10 million US. The Green Climate Fund is putting in money. The Latin
Is this
America,
money going to be matched or more than?
I'm not sure the exact quantities, but it is expected the bank will be established this year here in Barbados, and that it will leverage something like $500 million. So this will be money to do things like create stronger housing stock that can withstand hurricanes, hurricane resilient roofs. How do we transition to electric vehicles? This will be money to help Barbados do those kinds of things. Also, you mentioned the debt for climate swap. Again, walking the walk. We have embarked on these initiatives, these very creative initiatives where, for example, during the course of last year, we had this debt for nature swap, where with the IDB, we joined together with the IDB, Inter-American Development Bank, and the Nature Conservancy, where, for example, the Nature Conservancy, we purchased some of our debt, purchased our debt
At a lower
and gave us a lower interest rate, but on condition that we use the savings to do marine protection projects. So because of that initiative, we now have $50 million that rather than going to a bank to pay off debt, we can now use to protect the marine environment of Barbados. And this year we are doing a debt for climate swap, where similarly we will retire some of our debt at lower interest rates, but we will exchange it for debt that carries a low interest rate on condition that we use the savings for climate projects in Barbados. So, as I said, that is an example of a country that is not only preaching to the world or saying to the world, you must do X, Y, and Z under the Bridgetown Initiative, but we are also setting an example by doing concrete things
and
ourselves. Yes.
We're leading the way. And that's always good to know. And you remain there in the vanguard of it all, ensuring that Barbados's place at the table is not only known, but that in terms of helping to guide these policies through, you continue to give them your expertise as well. What are you looking forward to most in 2024 where CARICOM and its work is concerned?
Well, first of all, on the Bridgetown Initiative, I remain so focused on this because I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud that our country is actually trying to be the adult in what seems to be a very childish global community now, you know, and it's trying to keep the world focused on the serious.
As they say, we're punching above our weight.
We're punching way above our weight, and CARICOM embraces that vision as well. But in terms of me personally, I must tell you that I've been given the hot potato. I've been made in CARICOM. I've been made chair of the CARICOM Intergovernmental Task Force on bringing about freedom of movement.
Yes.
So I'm chairing the task force, and the mandate of the task force is to operationalize this decision, this historic decision, that we will have full freedom of movement, and that we will put it in place by the end of March this year. When I say put it in place, make the major changes to the revised treaty. Obviously, there will be a transition. There'll be a transition period. You know, everything won't happen automatically at the end of March. But that's a great responsibility I have been given, and we will need to talk about this more, Wendy, because
on our next
I don't think our Caribbean and Barbadian people have quite realized that this is in train.
Yeah, and it is. And the train will not stop people, but we will stop our conversation with the ambassador for this morning. Always great, always enlightening, always good to know how we're looking to move the region forward together. You have been watching His Excellency Ambassador David Commichon. We were discussing the Bridgetown Initiative and a number of others which will be happening in 2024. Morning Barbados will be back after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. With your news recap, I'm Wendy Burke. The Barbados Union of Teachers is pleased that the problems which were plaguing a number of schools at the end of last term are now rectified, and students should be able to return to the classrooms in cleaner conditions. General Secretary of the BUT, Herbert Gittins, told Morning Report that while a few environmental reports were due, they were mostly satisfied that conditions are much improved.
The environmentalist, he was there, and then there was a Mr. Vaughn who also would have done some cleaning at the properties as well. So from what we would have seen during the walkthrough, the union was very satisfied. Even at Anhill, there were some minor issues and they were being dealt with on the Saturday, but we were satisfied that all the areas that were of concern, both the senior teacher and the steward of the school were present. And they also expressed satisfaction at the work that was done at the annual. So we gave that a go ahead. Then we went over to the Thorn School, and where again, based on the recommendations coming out of the environmental study that was done at the school, really concerned. They did some remedial work, and when we left on Saturday, we were given the assurance that Mr. Weeks will do some more testing, and those results were due to be passed on today. I don't know if they're ready, but that would have given the go ahead for Lester Vaughn. So the only for Luther, the only issue, as I've been indicating, is that Mr. Weeks would share the results. So once those results were within the correct parameters as they relate to the amount of spores and so on, then we were satisfied that school could have started there. Also at St. Paul's, given the work that was done there, given the challenges that would have existed before, remedial work was done, and we also were satisfied that that school could also open.
When the doors open at Mount Tabor Primary today, there will be 89 new students from the St. John Primary School. Parents and guardians of 11 former St. John Primary students have opted for transfer to other schools, citing greater convenience, including easier access from their respective homes. The principal and all staff, teaching and non-teaching of the St. John School, have also been reassigned.
They would have organized for some of the teachers to be placed at other schools across the island, but some of about 6 or 7 teachers, along with some classes, which I think the reception classes were still intact. Those, along with the other students, would be given places at the Mount Tabor School, and those parents who needed transfers based on residence, where they live, and so on, those were granted. So the union was satisfied, given what has transpired between the end of the term and the work done at the various schools up to Saturday.
A news release from the Ministry of Education says a new prefabricated building has been constructed at the Mount Tabor school site to house 2 classrooms. The Transport Board will provide a daily school bus which will transport students from the Coach Hill, Colleton and Gull Hill environs to Mount Tabor. The bus will leave the St. John Primary location at 8:30 a.m. and return to that location in the evening. The crossing guard remains by the St. John Primary to assist with movement on mornings and evenings. The transferred students will be allowed to continue wearing their St. John Primary uniform at Mount Tabor. As Cabinet will decide on the future of the St. John Primary School, security remains at the school. One area that has taken BUT by surprise is that of Princess Margaret Secondary, with the school's opening delayed by a week for repair work to be completed. It was realized late that work needed to be completed and the children and staff could not be in the environment while it's ongoing. However, Mr. Herbert is happy that the children will be working online.
We learned not really in the proper way because we weren't informed by the ministry, but we understand that now that Princess Margaret the classes will be conducted online because some construction work there was not completed. And I think that's a good move because we do not want persons to be exposed to residue from construction work, which would not be the best teaching and learning environment for students at this time.
The Barbados government has already handed over the keys to close to 200 homes as part of the Hurricane Elsa relief housing project, and by March, the remaining 88 houses are expected to be completed. CBC's Crystal Hoyt has the details.
In a matter of weeks, government's $110 million Hurricane Elsa relief housing project is expected to be fully completed. That's the word from the National Housing Corporation's Special Project Manager, William Clark, who gave an update on the ongoing works.
There are 88 other houses that are needed to be completed in various parishes. But by the end of March, we are expecting to have all the Hurricane Elsa project that are outstanding finished. This is one of our 3-bedroom houses which are in progress, just about 80% complete. We are hoping to have this finished within the next 3 weeks.
179 houses have been handed over to Barbadians so far. In fact, just days before Christmas, Ann Spooner received the keys to her new home, a significant improvement to her previous living conditions.
I used to gotta put something to catch me. Well, I never used to want to talk about it. I never invite nobody in. Only what was here with me was the presence of God and the rain when it fall. And then that pushed down, I felt a little discomfort, to see the people see how it been looking thing. But I'm proud now to be a Bajan and have a good house that the government helped me with.
Government's Hurricane Elsa relief housing project is being executed by 3 agencies:
National Housing Corporation, UDC, which is Urban Development Commission, and RDC, the Rural Development Commission. A total of 1,683 houses were affected by the hurricane when it passed Barbados. 570 repairs were identified for National Housing Corporation, 349 rebuilds were identified, and we had some 217 individuals who would have received materials. St. George had 243 houses that were affected. St. Philip had 245 that were affected. And Christchurch, there had a total of 215 houses that were affected. If we break that down, bills for St. George alone was 107, St. Philip had 101, and Christchurch had 97.
U.S. President Joe Biden does not plan to fire Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin over his failure to disclose that he has been hospitalized. There have been calls from Republicans for the removal of the Pentagon chief. Austin, 70, sits just below President Biden in the chain of command in the U.S. military. He remains in hospital, which he entered on New Year's Day.
Lloyd Austin remains in hospital after suffering complications following recent surgery. He's been criticized for taking days to inform the White House about his operation. Al Jazeera's White House correspondent Kimberly Halkett with this update.
The Pentagon is releasing new details about Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin's hospital stay last week. It's a hospital stay following routine elective surgery that the Secretary of Defense started to experience complications, prompting a return to the hospital and a stay in ICU following feelings of severe pain. The problem is that the White House was not aware that the Secretary of Defense was in the hospital because he did not disclose it. Instead, he transferred his responsibility to his deputy. And that is the problem for many of the critics on Capitol Hill, including top Republicans in the Senate Armed Services Committee, who say that this is something that was deliberately withheld and that the White House also withheld this information in defiance of U.S. law. They are calling this unacceptable and are demanding a briefing from the Pentagon. Still,
several airlines are conducting safety checks on their Boeing 737 MAX planes after a door panel ripped off an Alaska Airlines flight at 16,000 feet. Investigators are looking into whether a design flaw or installation fault might have caused it.
Days after part of a door blew out of a Boeing airliner, investigators make a discovery.
I'm excited to announce that we found the door plug.
A teacher found the aircraft's missing part in his garden, and it's considered crucial to discovering why this happened in mid-flight.
Yes, we are emergency. We are depressurized. We do need to return back to. We have 177 passengers. Still is 18.8.
The drama unfolded on Friday after Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 suffered the blowout shortly after taking off from the city of Portland in Oregon. An external door plug blew off in a section of the fuselage at an altitude of 5,000 meters. Many passengers feared they would be sucked out of the cabin.
We just heard like a loud bang, and I looked to my left, and there's just this huge, like, gaping hole. First, I thought it was the emergency door, but there was no door there. It was just like a part of the wall that flew off.
The plane carrying 177 passengers and crew members made a safe emergency landing back in Portland. A cockpit voice recording considered crucial for an investigation was found to have been overwritten, and its data could not be retrieved. An inquiry found pilots had reported warning alerts days before the incident.
In these 3 previous flights, after the light illuminated, they flipped the switch to alt mode, which is normal. There's a backup. It was very benign. Nothing occurred. Very benign. The light illuminated. They flipped it. They reported it. It was tested by maintenance and then reset.
The aircraft was new, delivered by Boeing to Alaska Airlines just 2 months ago. A total of 215 of these 737 MAX 9 jets are in operation around the world, the vast majority of them here in the United States, and all have been grounded pending safety inspections. Regulators in the EU and Brazil are following suit.
That's your morning news recap. When we come back, we'll be talking Drug Awareness Month and NCSA.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, general practitioner and healthy lifestyle advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And if you're now joining us, you're a bit late to the party, but hey, we'll have you nonetheless. And this morning, we're also going to have the National Council on Substance Abuse. They have brought along 2 of their prevention officers. Yes, Substance Abuse Prevention Officer, Michaela Bourne and Paulette Atkinson. Welcome to the program and Happy New Year to you both.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning to Barbados, and Happy New Year to all of you as well.
And to you, and Happy New Year, Barbados. Good
Yes.
morning.
Now, we're doing something here that I haven't heard about in forever, and that is badge time for Scouts and Brownies. Now, you all have something called the Substance Abuse Badge, and today is going to be the Substance Abuse Badge Day for Scouts and Brownies and a community drive-through. Break it down for us, Bolivet.
Well, I'm going to defer to Makeda to discuss the badge, and then I'll talk about the drive-through.
No problem.
Thank you, Bolivet. Yes, the National Council on Substance Abuse, we started to work with the Boy Scout Association more than 10 years ago. And out of that relationship, we have developed the Substance Abuse Badge, which we have been working with the Scouts and other uniform groups. So last week, Thursday and Friday, all day, we had just over 500 Brownies and Boy Scouts, and we were able to complete the first phase with them towards their substance abuse badge.
Okay.
It was done online, and we used technology to be able to teach so many students within a short space of time.
500 is a lot.
Yes, it was. It was exhausting, but it worth every moment.
Okay. What were some of the things that they need to do to be able to attain this badge?
Excellent question, Wendy. What we have looked at, the badge that was designed in-house by one of our officers, Mrs. Greenidge, it was based on further developed based on our primary school research. So out of our primary school research 2020, we recognized that just over half our respondents stated that they at some point in time used a drug in their lifetime. The number one, just over 50%, was alcohol. Then energy drinks. A lot of persons don't know that caffeine is a drug, and it is in energy drinks, and they give the children. And then big on the list was inhalants, using household products at some point of time. Not inhalers, but inhalants. So,
because I was just going to tell you, there's so many asthmatic children, like, we got to make sure they have it right.
Household products. And then we have very small percentage, like 4%, who reported using some form of tobacco or marijuana, Fanta, at some point in time. So out of that research, we believe one child being exposed to any type of substance is one too many. So we have used that information to further develop the badge, and you have to complete modules on all of the drugs I just mentioned. So we looked at what the drugs are. We also look at the effects on the body as the individual chooses to use it, the effects on the family, your school, and the community. So when you come, we use different methodologies, including a lot of games.
I'm sure they love that part.
Oh, yes, a lot of games. We use interactive videos. We use things like matching cards to get the information over. So it is very highly activity-based.
Because based on what I'm listening to now, it means, because I believe you can join Brownies from like about 7 or so.
Yes.
So that means that you structured it in such a way that those from 7 to 11 can be a part of attaining this badge. You don't have to wait till you reach 10 or whatever to sit for it.
Yes, your phase one is actually the beavers. We have done work with beavers who also have their badge, which is younger than 7.
Okay.
And then we do work with those 7 to 11, which is this badge that we were referring to that we did some work last week. And we're continuing to work with them to the end of the year, because phase 2 is that they have to complete modules on their own through Nearpod. And then we also have the substance abuse badge phase, which is the older one. So we just did the Scouts before, which was we have members from the land, the sea, and Air Scouts who we did.
I didn't even know we have Air Scouts now.
Yes, so we have those. So we are working with them as well. And we have moved the badge to a place that actually any uniform group, so it can even be a youth group, a church youth group, can call us, and they can apply to do this badge as well.
That's nice.
Yes,
that is awesome. Now, Paulette, it's a month of celebrations that NCS is looking at in terms of making Barbadians aware of what needs to be done and how it can be done in terms of preventing substance use and abuse. You're having a community drive-through.
That's right.
What communities are you touching? What are you looking to impart once you go into those communities?
Thank you, Wendy. Let me say that we are strengthening prevention this month and throughout the year. We have done many years of awareness building. We're continuing on that, but we ensure that we work closely with our stakeholders, our families, our communities, because our research continues to show that people get introduced, or youth get introduced to legal substances in the home. And in the community, it is much more pervasive, much more available. So basically what we are going to be doing, we started to go back out to our communities post-COVID, and this is just another initiative to really strengthen our relationships with families and communities. So this Friday, from 10, we're hitting the road. And we're going to be driving through communities near our office. We're starting from our Belleville and Pine Road location. We're going through the Pine, we're going through Wildy, we're heading up the highway, we're going through Sergeant's Village, onto Kendall Hill, Gall Hill, Silver Hill. Look for us, we're coming. Wharton, we're going via Thornbury Hill, Calendars, up to Parish Land.
How are we coming?
I mean, we
by
are
bus,
coming by bus.
car?
We are coming by bus, old-time bus. Look for us, the NCSA is going to be on the road. And we're going to be joined by some of our other members from the Ministry of Home Affairs. They're very supportive. And we're going to be on the road. We're coming out to communities near you. You have an opportunity now to engage with us directly. Hear about our services, our counseling service, which is available free of cost.
Which many might not know.
People don't know. How do you get help if you or a loved one or someone you know is experiencing an issue with substance abuse? Not only can you call us at 535-NCSA, but you can also engage with our counselors. Find out exactly what does it mean when you have addiction. What is that? How can I get help for a family member? What do I do? Because invariably, many times, people are in a pickle. And it's like, who do I call? What do I do? Who do I speak to in a way that is confidential, that my business doesn't get out there? So we're coming out to the communities directly. We're letting you know about the wonderful programs like what Makeda mentioned that are going on every day in schools. School starts back today.
Yes, it
You know, we're
does.
saying hello to all the teachers across the land, primary schools, secondary schools, even in our tertiary educational institutions. We just resumed working with UE and the BCC, SJPI, and it's important that we understand that some education is formal, some is informal. So we work with sporting groups, with the church. And letting people know that this is an integrated approach. It's everybody's business. It's not just persons who are impacted. Prevention is everybody's business. So we want to strengthen that relationship.
Because we make the assumption that just because it doesn't touch our doorstep directly, that is absolutely nothing to do with us. But we're looking at something which potentially can be a scourge to our society as a whole. And we need to be able to be our brother's keeper in these times.
Exactly. Strengthening prevention means working together and seeing yourself as a stakeholder in terms of preventing the issue and also being aware of how you can intervene to help those who need support. And recognizing that, like you said, it may not touch my doorstep, but if it's an issue in the community, it has an impact. It has a ripple effect. So we want to ensure that persons are not only aware, but they know what to do. What are the actions that can be taken to stop it, to arrest it? We work continuously as well with our treatment and rehabilitation providers. So our counselors are going to be on the bus. We also have personnel who work within the community, the heart of the community, with vulnerable groups that you don't get to see. And they too need to understand how they can get help, how they can act and work together to prevent the issue of substance use. So we'll be coming out. We'll be going all the way up to Sayers Court.
But you know what people ask once you're coming with information, they're also expecting fun prizes, surprises, giveaways.
So you have to look out for us because we will have some giveaways and it's going to be fun. So you may be asked to answer a question. We're going to have our bullhorn. We're going to be out there. We're going to be spread a message. But it's going to be a fun and engaging time. We're going to make some stops as well along the way. So look out for us. Places like Oystons and so, that's a busy area. You know, and it's all about engagement.
And it's on a Friday.
It's this Friday.
We like excitement on it.
Exactly.
We like excitement on it.
So we're really excited to really go back out and to be engaged with our community stakeholders.
Yeah, because I guess too, the pandemic would have dealt more or less like a double whammy for those who may already be substance abusers, in that they would have been feeling already locked away and isolated from before maybe, and then now COVID disconnecting and not being able to go to where they wanted to at a particular time, what have you, to get that help maybe that they were looking for.
Yes.
It's great to know that they can reach out and touch once again to get it, you know.
And that's important. Mental health is part of our total health. Our spiritual, mental, physical health is a totality. It's a holistic approach that we take at the NCSA. And it's letting people know that you are not alone, that this is a supportive community. We're here for you. And no matter what it is, if you feel a sense of despair, you can always call us. And this is a way of reassuring and strengthening that, that linkage with families, with communities, with our counterparts, and recognizing that we can't do it alone.
We can't, and we shouldn't try either. Not when there are agencies like NCSA providing that outlet that we need. Now, I'm surprised that you want more people to join with this badge, because 500 is a lot, and then you're managing them online as well. In terms though of the individuals looking to go through all those assessments and all those quizzes, how big a team do you have?
Very good question. There are only 4 substance abuse officers, and there are only 2 counselors at NCSA. But we are employed to get the information out there to Barbados.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, we cannot do it on our own. So since COVID, we have increased our use of technology. So even during COVID, NCSA never shut down.
Okay.
We were always accessible to the public through technology, through education, through technology, various platforms we use to make it interactive as well.
But is that something that is advisable, Polivet? We make the assumption that as a drug abuser, user, that you would want that closeness in terms of sharing, well, yes, I've been getting hallucinations after I either smoke or drink or do whatever. You're not sure that you might necessarily want to go on a Zoom call and discuss it with the counselor.
Well, the thing is that, you know, there are different facets, and everybody experiences drug use or abuse differently.
Yes.
So we have to be multifaceted and offer various outlets where people can reach out. It doesn't mean that if you start out by having a counseling session online, that you will continue to have every session online. But we want to get you involved in the first instance, get you connected, so you recognize, look, I need to talk. I need to speak to a professional, someone who can listen and who can work with me to get back on track, to get the necessary support. So if it means that the first point of reach is the telephone, we use it. If it means that the first point of contact is via a Zoom activity, that's the first point of contact. And then from there, we engage further. And it's all about strengthening that linkage. That linkage now.
And we need
that connection.
We need that. Now, in terms of the numbers she was talking about in terms of support at the NCSA of itself, how much volunteerism do you all encourage in terms of like tapping into the wider social work pool, the wider psychology pool, that type of thing?
Yes, we encourage volunteerism at NCSA. We need our volunteers. Actually, we are in the process of relooking how we use volunteers so that we can use volunteers more and use them by their strength. Currently, we do encourage internship at our organization. We have social workers at different levels, psychologists. So once we have the program and it's suited to what they have to do for the internship, we do accept interns, and they have been a great
Awesome.
asset at our organization as well. So
Awesome.
what we're giving to them, they have been great in also giving to NCSA and the wider public through the programs they will do at NCSA. So that is a very important aspect of NCSA.
And I'm sure that the institutions are happy to hear that this morning too, that more of them can channel their people through you to ensure that they can get what it is they need to get done, because they're completing their process and you all are getting someone to help you all along the way to reach that many more souls who actually need the assistance. Now, Paulette, in terms of the strengthening and the community drive-through, we have an entire month. We're driving through on Friday. What after Friday?
After Friday, we're going to have some online webinars and workshops. We're going to have some face-to-face engagement with our stakeholders in law enforcement. You'll hear more about that in the coming weeks. We're also going to be propelling our research later in the month. You'll hear more about, what our research
we like the numbers.
Oh, yes.
We like the
and we are
numbers.
driven by research. It's important to ensure that we have that evidence base. We'll also be facilitating some workplace pop-ups and so. So we have a plethora of a wealth of activities which are integrated across various sectors, and again, engaging our stakeholders, working within our schools. Those continue our ongoing school and community programs, and you'll hear more about our counseling drive.
Okay, wonderful. So I want to wish you and Makeda all the best as you go through this month of activities. We know it goes far beyond the month, but I wish you the best, because it'll be more intense now as you try to strengthen across the board. I want to thank Makeda Bourne and Paulette Atkinson, both substance abuse prevention officers with the NCSA. Morning Barbados will be back after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Time to move out of the studio and go to our friends online. That's been the modality we worked on during COVID time, but we're going to have to continue it because Michael, he is in Trinidad and he has a new release. He's been good. It's by himself and it features John Yard and Shade Seeley. I want to say good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. It is a pleasure. Now, songwriter, singer, everything about you says, I love the Lord. Your names, Isaiah, everything in there says, this is who I am. And young man, a psalmist. Was this always your path or did something lead you to it?
Well, funny that you say psalmist because when I started professionally in gospel music, I would have attended, or I shouldn't say attended, I participated in a gospel competition Didn't win, but the pastor that was one of the judges uh, said to me, "Hey, you write like a psalmist. You know, you write like a psalmist," and it's, it stuck. You know, the psalmist Micaiah. That was the first iteration of my name. And I mean, what led me to gospel music? Man, my life experiences and just knowing that I had to give my all to God. Um, you know, just because he's been too good. You know, he's been too good.
Good, continues to be good each and every day in every way. Now, tell me a bit about this, your foray into the music, because you didn't just get there on your own. There were other influences which helped to propel you to the point you're at now.
I mean, growing up in a singing family, that also contributed to, why I decided to jump into gospel music. But for the most part, it was a very personal, a very relationship oriented reason in regards to, God and seeing how much He has done in my life personally, and just saying, you know what, I want to give my talents and my gifts to God. Because, I mean, for me, it's always been wanting to be in the world of entertainment. But when I felt that pull, that tug to be in gospel music, I said, you know what? Yeah, this would be the best move and the best way to use my talents, my gifts. I love the behind the scenes of music. I love the business of music. However, when it comes to that being in the forefront, it's going to be gospel music that persons get from me, and that in itself would have then been inspired by, hearing Kirk Franklin, my father, the late Tony Gonzalez, Dietrich Haddon, and even John Legend, listening to John Legend and just hearing how these artists, even my father, would have performed a song. And when it comes to original material, hearing how persons like Kirk Franklin and they would write songs, it was me saying, what, I want folks when they hear my music that they can be as connected to it as, I am to those songs, They get a real message from it. As much as it speaks about God and His goodness, His grace, His mercy, His love, that they can say, but it's real. It connects. It connects to me. It connects with me.
Okay, now you are a youngster. You were writing for quite some time, but you not only write music, but you also do screenplays as well as, stage plays. Are those also always based on Christ?
Yes, and then there are those that are definitely it. My Christian upbringing would definitely be present in those stories. However, it's very much it's very much just me wanting to tell a real story when I write those things. So and then too, it's lent itself into my music. So even like my single I released last year, the story crafted for that music video was written by myself. So it allows me to, I guess, definitely write in a much deeper sphere when it comes to my storytelling. But yeah, not every story is going to be overtly Christian. However, I can't deny that my Christian upbringing is going to find itself in those stories.
Okay, let's talk now about how you came to be collaborating with our very own John Yard and Shade Seeley in terms of choosing them to be a part of this song.
Well, I met John when he was studying in Trinidad. I met him, and especially in the beginning of my career, that's when I met him, and I just loved John's ministry and still love his ministry. And in working on my album that was released last year, October, in working on the album, when we got to the song, my producer Lesroy Byers of Antigua, he would have suggested, hey, I think we should go with John. And I was like, no problem. Let's connect with him and see. We connected to John, and John said, yeah, man, no problem. And within a week or so, he sent his vocals back in regards to Sade Seeley. I mean, Sade has always been a friend. So her working on the vocal arrangement of the album also, it just felt like a natural progression to have her jump on one of the songs and be a feature. So she said no problem. So I got the two of them, persons that I know, that I'm connected to. I believe you can hear it in the music, you hear it in the song that these folks know each other. They're not just persons that just jumped on a song for jumping on a song, or they know each other, and you can feel that love.
Okay, and that's key for you in music, isn't it? Ensuring that the love manifests itself once the vocals are heard.
Yes, agreed. Because I mean, as they say, music is a spiritual thing, and as persons think that's a cliche thing, but no, it's the only form of entertainment, unless any research has proved that. But the only form of entertainment that hits persons, without them subconsciously saying, "Hey, now I don't want to hear this." I don't. So you want to be able to be responsible.
Okay.
What you say.
Let's take in a little piece of the track. Okay, so now I can see why you are so much into your music. Now, where do you want to see this track going?
Man, global. Every song that I write, I want to see it, reach far beyond, the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, affect change in my own country, but go far beyond Trinidad and Tobago, and from there, just go global. Reach everyone. Everyone, doesn't matter whether in the Caribbean, in the US, Europe, doesn't matter. I wanted to reach everywhere and touch persons and give them that boost of confidence, that boost of encouragement.
And what platforms is it on to ensure that it can go global?
It's everywhere in regards to any streaming platforms: Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, Spotify, Amazon. Everywhere anyone listens music now in our day and age in regards to streaming, it's available there. We have some physical copies for folks that love physical media like myself. It's via pre-order system. Right, so once persons go on my Instagram or Facebook, they can get the link and make those pre-orders if they want a physical copy, right? And well, of course, the song hits YouTube also today because we're releasing the song today. So it hits YouTube today. It should be all right now, on YouTube. So if you love what you hear here, go over to YouTube and stream it, share it, and let the world know. Yeah, this song is here and it's out now.
Yes, and the world will get to know exactly who Mikael is, a Trinidadian, but a lover of Jesus Christ, lover of all things positive, and we are just happy. And your music, just talking about it, and to see the smile that takes over your face, just to see it, it says, yes, this is a positive young man doing positive things and wanting to ensure that we too draw that positive message out of that song once we hear the lyrics and once we get to be a part of it. Now, you would have done a music video to fit this song, but what I'm wondering is, every time you write, do you also go to the visual end in terms of trying to play out what that song will look like for others to ensure that it is a complete ministry of the word?
Definitely, the visual aspect to media is very much important as much as the music is. And yes, oftentimes there is that visual of, okay, what I would like to see a music video look like, or what I would like to see lyric video to look like, for me, I do find myself seeing that. Oftentimes, it's not even a visual to put out there on YouTube or TV or anything of the sort. It's oftentimes, you're seeing how much the song is going to be effective, when performed. So oftentimes getting that visual helps in regards to when the song is being written or being recorded. So like with this song, the music video for the song that was released last year entitled Say That Name, that was written, produced, and put together, and we were able to release it. And thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to drop that. And well, for this song, He's Been Good, we decided to go the route of a lyric video. So the lyric video that is out now on YouTube, I hope, gives persons an even deeper insight as to where our minds were at when creating this song, and that it gives them a much better appreciation of, what was or is being sung in the song also.
Okay, well, we're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we will actually get to hear the song in its entirety.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV 8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack? Or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. It's now time to hear He's Been Good by Mikael.
If I could list from the start of time till now, all of the people that God has brought out, it will take all of my life and beyond to say how good He's been, yeah. If only there were better words to describe, or the greatest song written to express your time, it still won't be close enough to let you know you're good, yeah. You're good, yeah.
God, you've been so good. In the midst of the darkness, you are here. And through all life's struggles, I will not fear. You are the rock on which I stand.
On which I stand, oh.
When the seas get rough, Lord, I'll just take your hand. 'Cause you bring me over. Yes, you will.
Yes, you will.
You fight my battles. Tell me be still.
Tell me be still. Your love and faithfulness is why I'm breathing here today.
So I lift my hands to say that you've been oh so good today. Your love and faithfulness
is why I'm breathing here today.
So I lift
Yes, that was Mikael, and your goodness has indeed taken over me and taken over all of us this morning, young man. We want to thank you for putting that song out there in the atmosphere. Yes, we also want to thank you for joining us here this morning on Morning Barbados, because in 2024, we need all the goodness that he can bring and that he has to offer. So once again, thanks for giving it to us.
And thank you guys for having me. Shout outs to my producer, Lesra Baez of Oakville Collective. Shout out to Sealy, John Yard for making this song possible. Man, I appreciate you guys so much, and I pray that the song reaches every single person and they're blessed, they're touched, they enjoy it, they love it. Don't want to keep you all any longer. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. And here's hoping that it does big things in 2024. Yes, that was Mikael. We want to thank him for joining us here. We'll take a break and be back in a bit.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And what a morning we've had. We've heard all about the plans for 2024 in terms of trying to get that freedom of movement up and going. We want to thank Ambassador Commichon and wish him well as he continues the work. We also have some major conferences coming up in the region, so we're looking forward to those in Barbados. Also, the NCSA, it's their Drug Awareness Month. They're strengthening prevention this year. But on Friday, go out and join them. They will be taking their old-time bus across the length and breadth of Barbados. They would have named the number of communities they'll be visiting. Go on out, find out, get the information first hand. Also, the little cubs and brownies who are along the way doing their badges, we're happy that you're getting on board early and understand why it's important to stay away from drugs. Also, to the young man, the Trinidadian Mikael, we want to say well done to you, and we wish your song well. Launches today, as he said. You can go on out, find it on YouTube, continue to spread the word as he too spreads the gospel on all that there is. And I want to say to you little ones, going back to school today, your first day back out after that Christmas holiday, well, it's time to shake off all of that lethargical stuff. No more gaming for now. You know, it's time to beat those books, and it's also athletics term. So we wish the athletes well going into this term. And I'm wishing you and yours all the best this morning as you go through your day. Whether it be sunshine or rain, ensure that you have a good one. I'm Wendy Burke.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.